In this video, I want to talk about taking your idea of your culture or things that are important to you that describe who you are as a person, and how are you going to take that plan that you did in your packet and how are you going to transfer it to 6 by 6 inch paper. First of all, what you need to know is that whatever you put on this paper gets transferred to the linoleum. So you'll notice that when it comes time for transferring, this pencil design is going to get flipped over onto a blank piece of linoleum. It's going to get flipped over, and you'll be watching a video on how to transfer your design onto this tile. So you'll notice that this is in reverse. So you can see that there's a mirror image here. When you are drawing your final drawing on here, if you have to do more than one piece of paper to get it right, then that's what you do, because whatever you have on here for your final is what will go on here. There's no changing it once it goes onto the linoleum, and you only get one piece of linoleum. So you want to make sure that the drawing you put on your 6 by 6 inch piece of paper is exactly the way you want it before you transfer. So make sure that this is exactly the way you want it. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk to you about, that little tips or tricks that you can do to make your piece successful. First of all, don't make your design too complex. Don't put too much information in your drawing. Keep it simple. Also, draw your items fairly large. So you're noticing I have some musical notes here. They're kind of a large size because you're going to be carving these out, and the smaller your items on your paper, the more difficult it is to cut out. I would highly suggest you stay away from words and numbers. So letters and numbers, I would stay away from those. Some people do incorporate them, but I will tell you that they are not always successful for the final print. When you are drawing, and I'm just going to doodle, I'm not necessarily going to do anything specific, but let's just say I wanted to do, I don't know, let's just say I'm creating a line and I want to do something like this. I have no idea, no clue. So let's say I'm doing something like that. This is not going to work because I need to be thinking in terms of shapes. So notice I have the shape of a plane. I have the shape of New Hampshire, which is where I grew up. I have the star of the Capitol. I like to draw, so I have a pencil. I love to read books, music, the ocean, beach. So these are all things that are about me, that represent who I am. I would not be able to do something like this unless it was enclosed. So now I have an area that is going to get carved away and an area that's going to be left behind. You always have to think in terms of what am I going to carve and what am I going to leave behind. When you do this particular drawing, it is staying a line drawing. We are not shading. So do you see how I shaded in the music notes and the hearts here? We are not going to be shading any of that in. This is going to stay a line drawing only, no shading. So I know it might have said that in one of the other areas, in the other somewhere else, but we are not shading. So let's say I wanted to do, I'm going to do another little bucket here. So let's say I wanted to create a bucket, and I wanted to put a handle on that bucket. I need to make sure I'm working in terms of shape. Maybe there is a horizon line, and maybe this is representational of a wave. Who knows? I'm making things up as I go along. Let's say I want it to be nighttime, so I'm going to put a moon here. And I've decided that I want to add some, I don't know, but a cloud. What I really want you to notice is that everything that I'm drawing in is a shape. I'm not putting anything that is just a line. That's not going to work. No matter what you do, it has to be a shape. Okay? So I'm going to share with you some other designs that other students have done, so you can kind of get an idea of what other students have done in the past. So here's somebody who chose, obviously they have a Native American, a Native background. This person chose to do more like symbols of who they are, and maybe some initials in through here, kind of some hidden figures. This person looks like some type of an Irish background, and then they combined their letters together. This is, I believe, their first and last name combined together to create a kind of a little logo. This person had more of an internal, really thought process as like a self-portrait of who they are and kind of cutting the face. This is very complex, very difficult to do, so harder, especially up in this area. You also need to be thinking about in terms of what are you keeping, what are you going to carve away. Here's somebody else, somebody who celebrates Eid, and you can see part of the Taj Mahal here, country flag, camel, person wearing a hijab. This person has lots of memories of their culture and their family and traditions of going camping. This person, traditions of fishing. You can see the boat and the motor kind of at the bottom, and that, again, this is very detailed. So your piece can be very specific, such as this, or it can be representational. So you get to decide what your artwork is going to look like, but you are going to be writing an artist statement, so you have to be able to explain why you chose to do the design you did and what that design represents. So again, notice that these items are not teeny tiny. In fact, I would not go any smaller than this. This is pretty small to carve out. That would be a little bit difficult. Same thing in here, but notice we're dealing all with shapes. They're not just lines. Everything is a shape, so that we can then figure out, are we carving out the background, or are we carving out the notes? And that's a whole nother step which we will get to. So I don't want you thinking about that right now, but when you design, think in terms of shapes. Okay, and try and have your design go off all four sides of your paper. Good luck and have fun.